Yo, what's up my friends? This is World, and today we're going to be making a similar lead like the new R3HAB songs and Sander Van Doorn's Phoenix, which is this one. I just heard it. I haven't made the lead, so we're going to try and remake it. So I'm calling this similar lead kind of tutorial because I don't know if we're going to get it. I kind of have an idea of how to approach it. I just don't know if it's going to be the same, identical, but I know I can get it close. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with this one is we are gonna use a saw because the sound in the track is a saw. I don't know what synth they use, so depending on the synth, there might be different, characteristics in the sound, and it's gonna be very similar, but it might be off by just a bit, just because Serum uses a different saw than other plugins. So we'll go from there. Before we get started, a lot of people have been always asking, why do I keep making tutorials, sound design tutorials in Serum, and why don't I do them as often? So let me answer that real fast. The reason I do them in Serum is because a lot of people have been doing remakes. It got really popular, especially the FL Studio remakes. Now, there's nothing wrong with them, but a lot of people, for those remakes use Silent One. So I assume that if people want to, use Silent One, they can just get the preset from those remakes. I personally don't like remakes where people just go looking for presets in like banks and then they just remake it. I give them props for having the patience to do the MIDI and everything, but I personally don't see a lot of skill in that unless you're making the sounds from scratch. But then again, those remakes are to help people out, so props to them. So that's why I do them in Serum, and I don't do sound design tutorials that often because there's not that many unique sounds out there right now that I haven't made. So let's get started on this one. So I'm thinking of having the unison stay at 1 for now. We might go up higher depending on whether we need it or not, because the saw is very, 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 soloed, and it's very powerful. Whenever you start adding a lot of the same sound, in this case saws, things start to phase out. This is something that you might see when you layer stuff. If you layer a lot of leads that sound very similar, they will start to phase each other out, and you will get a really phasey sound. So what this will cause is your leads won't pop out of your track like you want them to, like the professional tracks sound like. So that's one of the biggest problems that I think a lot of people have. So be careful with that. So we're going to stay at 1 unison. And I think we're going to be done here. We'll leave the blend all the way down an octave, because this sound, I think the MIDI's, yeah, should be fine. Now the saw from Serum has a really high end to it, even at a low octave. So I don't feel like the sound's going to be identical. But we'll see if we can get it there. So the first thing I want to do is I want to shape the sound through envelope 1, which is routed to the master channel, or I'll just say the amp envelope, which we're going to make it punchy. So this is where we shape the sound. So in envelope 1, if you hear a sound and you see the sound's characteristics there, it's a long sound with a long release, which means it sticks around for a while. Or maybe it's a sound where it's really plucky and it's just like the sound comes and that's it. Then usually this is where you shape it. With decay, you get it that punchy. We're going to lower attack, not release, because we can't have that much release when it comes to plucks. We're gonna add a little bit of sustain. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a filter, and we're gonna increase the drive and a little bit of fat, and we're gonna leave it halfway close, somewhere around there. The reason for that is being, if you hear the sound, it has this kind of wiggly effect, and that's created by an LFO on the filter. So we're gonna go towards that right now. But first, we gotta shape this. So I think around there should be fine. A little bit of resonance, not that much though. Now, I don't want to close the filter all the way. The reason for that is because I kind of need to leave it a little bit open so the LFO can close it, and you'll get that LFO moving fast, and you'll get that wiggly effect that he has in it. We're going to change this to a sine, because the characteristics on that wiggly effect symbolize a sine. If you guys hear it, it's like, it's not, it's just not instant. Okay, so let's put envelope 2 first in there, and we're going to shape the sound to come out. We're going to decrease sustain all the way because it's a punchy sound. There's no sustain to it that much, maybe a little bit. And then we're going to do decay. Okay, we're going to turn mono legato on, and we're going to turn this up all the way. Because the reason we have mono legato on and we didn't click the always is because if we click always, when the note is changing notes, it will, the legato is going to activate no matter what. So having always on is if you always want that legato effect. If you don't want it, you just want it when the notes are kind of crossing over each other, then you turn it off and then you do it manually. Now what we're going to do is put an LFO1 here, and we're going to make it go back like this. And we're going to increase the rate to 116, I think. I don't think we want to close the filter that much. So that we're getting that wiggly effect right there. So this would be kind of like trying to get it to sound down more. Put this up more. Okay, so I don't like the high end on it. It's kind of killing it. So maybe we can try, let's try this all the way open and then back. Oops, wrong envelope. Need the LFO one. We're gonna increase the decay a bit on envelope 1. So we're getting the effect, but I think we're gonna leave it halfway open. We don't want it all the way back. We don't want the filter to open up all the way either. Okay, now we just need to make the envelope open up a bit more because we moved it back. Yeah, there we go. Now the saw sounds it has a lot of high harmonics to it. So the one that they have, I don't know if it's silent 1 or not, or massive, but the saw itself doesn't have high ends. Now the reason I don't put this lower an octave lower is because it's not gonna really work, because then we will be too low of an octave, as you guys can see. However, we'll leave it at -1. Let's try increasing unison a bit. Yeah, even turning the retrigger on here doesn't really help that much. Okay, so we're gonna apply a bit of distortion to get it to sound a little bit more stronger. I think diode 1 or 2 should work. Yeah, one of those distortions should get that high end. Okay, let's keep going. Down sample. That just decreases bit rate. Yeah, I think diode 1 or 2 should do it because it kind of gets rid of that high harmonics on it. Yeah, we're gonna go with diode 1 or 2. So we're gonna do diode 1. We're gonna put the drive at 12 o'clock. Now you guys can go with different distortions. As you guys saw, every distortion kind of made the sound a little bit more different than what we're making. So if you guys don't want to use the exact same sound, so your people aren't like, hey, that's the sound from that track, You guys can change here and start getting a little bit more creative. Maybe choose a different wavetable if you're gonna go that way. We're gonna put a compressor to get that wiggle effect out a bit more. I'm trying to put the gain up, not the everything else. Now I'm compressing it a lot because there was a lot of like kind of noise, so I didn't want that noise, so I'm compressing it by lowering the attack all the way down. What that's gonna do is the compressor, as soon as the sound plays, it's gonna activate, so it's not gonna let that clicky noise occur. So it's gonna control that and make it so that it doesn't sound, because it will get compressed. So everything sounds at the same volume now. So we're gonna have it like that. I just moved the threshold to 3 o'clock and the gain up. What the threshold does in a compression, it tells it when to activate and by how much. So the more threshold you put, the more compression that's gonna occur. And then the gain, I used it to do makeup gain. If you guys use the Ableton compressor, you can have it do it by itself. But you want to do makeup gain because when you compress, you lose volume because you're lowering dynamics. So pretty much when you lower dynamics, you get rid of the high ceiling. So the loudest part of the sound is put down and the lowest part of the sound is put up. So you start compressing it. And what happens is, obviously, if something is super high and you start compressing it together, you're going to lose the super highness volume of it. So you use the gain to bring it back up. Finally, we're going to end up with some reverb, which is going to make the sound a bit more like the one in the track. So I'm just increasing the size and nothing much. Now, if I wanted to get unique with the reverb again, you can put a shit ton of reverb. But nah, we don't want that. A little bit of size, 3 o'clock. To kind of, give it some, like putting like cream on your banana split or something. So this is where I would end the sound. We could kind of EQ and maybe get rid of the high end a bit. Maybe let's try that. I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of that Saw's high end like that. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be the tutorial. I'm going to save this sound and put it up for free download on the evosounds.com website. So I'm going to call it Evo and SemWorld. And then we're going to save it and I'm going to name it. My name is Jeff. I'm going to name it Phoenix. I'll call it Phoenix. And if you guys want it, you guys can get it from the evosounds.com website. It will be up there in the free download section. You put your mouse over the free downloads, drop down menu, tutorial downloads, and you go to the EDM ones, not the hip hop ones. And it'll be there for you guys to download for free. As always, if you want to support what we do, you guys can go ahead and do that. This video was a bit different. I tried to remake the sound without trying for the first time. But the lead came out very good, and if you guys want it, it's there for free download. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.